Sports betting podcast for this Tuesday, May the 25th. Yeah, it is the first time in a little while that we've done this, but was finally able to spend some time with the parents visiting my old homestead for about 9 days, and first time I had seen the parents since the plague. Even hooked up with some old friends, including people that I got to start with in the industry way back from my Dial Sports days. Make sure you visit me at Offshore Insider, even get a picture of some of those old dudes. But let's get to it. And by the way, I do hope to finalize, dot some I's, cross the T's, and we will hopefully be partnering with a major podcast entity to give us even more exposure than ever before, and certainly give us plenty of motivation to do more broadcasts than ever before. But let's get to a free pick first for tonight in Major League Baseball. Free computer system-oriented pick from Joe Duffy's Picks. The New York Mets and DeGrom, -1.5, +101. Against Colorado and Freeland. Now, one of the strongest angles in gambling history is essentially using the odds makers' knowledge against them. We take the current odds and compare them to some recent numbers, and as I said, I use the odds makers' knowledge against them. This system is plus 938.69 units. Now, I hate big chalks, but they've been good bets, especially in recent years, though fortunately more so on the run line. Man, I can't even stand the thought of laying like 200 on a consistent basis. And this fits into such an angle where big favorites are very good against the run line at plus 102.240 units and an ROI of 7.1. Yeah, I think one of the reasons is a lot of people don't like laying a number when the total's low, but you got to realize here the number one reason the total is low is because the Mets, Jacob deGrom's been dominant as heck in the dead ball season. Runs are going to be very difficult to come by, but even with a total of 6, our database says laying 1.5 is a very good bet. Not quite as strong as it would be at 6.5 or 7 or whatever, but still quite bettable. I think the ROI was about 3.1. Now, DeGrom is having just an outlandish year, and he might not even give up. We might win this game if the Mets scored 2 runs. DeGrom this season, ERA of .68. .68. That is uncanny. And a .6 whip. That's in 6 starts. Again, beyond ridiculous. As you know, we like his cooperation. We use a lot of the top simulators. One of the better ones, AccuScore, does have the Mets covering 1.5, 60% of the time, which is great value. And especially since if you shop around, you should either be getting small juice or laying almost nothing on the juice. A couple of our other best software packages, they don't necessarily do the run lines, but everybody does have the Mets winning, and usually by more than a run. So this is a very good value, the New York Mets on the run line. All right, another one of our popular features here. We want to see who the public is betting. We really do this more so with the ATS sports. In the NBA for tonight, 2 fairly strong consensus plays. 66% of the bets are on the Lakers, 64% on the Nets. Of course, the Lakers against the Suns and the Nets against the Celtics. And yeah, clearly the entire world thinking the experienced Lakers will bounce back. Once LeBron gets punched in the mouth, he's going to hit you back a little bit harder. If anything, I thought it would be even a bigger consensus play on the Lakers, although a pretty big line move from the first game. So the odds makers are one step ahead of you. Now, the biggest bets for tonight in terms of money, and again, the first one is in terms of bets. As we like to tell you, contrarian bettors generally think you want to go against Joey Bag of Donuts, the guy who's betting $5 per game. So therefore, his bet counts as much in contrarian and maybe even more than a $500 or $5,000 better. But again, another theory is you always want to bet with whomever the bookmakers are rooting for. The bookmakers make money. So the percentage of money, only one overwhelming or fairly strong consensus tonight on the LA Clippers at 73%. And a lot of people also believe sharp versus square. When you can compare the tickets to the money percentages, you go with the money, and therefore the LA Clippers would be the one sharp move tonight based on that criterion. I'm going to have even more for you in a moment. Joe Duffy's Picks I've been in this business now, 33 years. NBA first round total of the year among 4 NBA winners for tonight. 2 wise guy plays, 2 baseball winners, and both of those baseball are after 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and it's all at offshoreinsiders.com. Now some baseball betting trends. Tampa Bay going way back over the years, 75-40 run. They're plus 27 units. Again, this is based on 1 unit per bet. The LA Angels have gone over 38-16 at home. And why don't we take a look? That's about it when it comes to Major League Baseball. But in the NBA, Phoenix Suns on a 53-29-2 spread run. Lakers have gone under 65-44-2. From a percentage standpoint, quite significant. Dallas has gone under at a 22-5 rate. The Suns have gone over 34-17. Brooklyn on Tuesdays, and again, sometimes I do the I Report, you decide. Not a big day of the week guy. The one exception we found is in Major League Baseball, where home teams do very well on Saturdays. But again, I'll report, you decide. Brooklyn is actually 15-2 against the spread on Tuesday contest. Phoenix 26-13 run in their home contest. Some NHL, Nashville 22-10 versus the Eastern Conference, plus 13.33 units. Toronto has gone under at a 47-33-7 rate. And by the way, I'm going to have an NHL Super System coming up, and it applies twice tonight, in fact. Now, who have been the best teams this year to bet on, again, based on 1 unit per bet? Tampa Bay at 30-19 plus 10.3 units has been the most profitable team to bet on this year. San Francisco plus 9.1 units at 28-19. Boston is 29-19 plus 6.5 units. And Oakland 28-21 plus 6.3 units. Now, who have been the best teams to bet against, or the worst teams to bet on, depending on which way you want to look at it? Minnesota 18-29 minus 19.1 units. Ouch. LA Angels 20-27 minus 9.9 units. Arizona 18-30 minus 8.9 units. And Atlanta, and this is why it's so important, not just mere records. Atlanta is 23-24, but minus 8.8 units. So they've been a major disappointment this year. And I did promise you that I was going to give you some NHL super systems. We got a bounce back system. It basically says in the playoffs, teams do bounce back, especially at home and when they are off of some playoff losses. And that system is 118-97. Pretty decent on the money line, although I'm going to be honest with you, hasn't been quite as good in recent years. But that would apply to both the Montreal Canadiens and the Hurricanes as well tonight. And also, let's see, with any significant line moves in the NBA for tonight, not really particularly, nothing more than any half line. I guess the biggest line move would be the Lakers in Summit. If you do shop around, Lakers are laying either 1.5 or 2 points, and they opened up at only a 1-point favorite and only laying 105. So we already talked about how much the public was betting on the LA Lakers. Again, I will update you at Offshore Insider on Twitter, where I can give you even more updates insofar as who the public is betting on, the updated numbers. We'll also have last-second scratches and maybe even some power trends. We have quite a few different databases I use, so maybe even some power trends. Make sure you follow us at Offshore Insider. Yes, the website itself is at Offshore Insiders with an S at the end, but at Offshore Insider with no S because of the character limitations on Twitter.